Friends, I'm standing in front of the Lancaster County Prison in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. This is the next segment in this new series on abolishing the prison system, because there's a superior alternative to the failed prison system that's been here since the 1700s, started in Philadelphia under William Penn, and William Penn did a lot of good things, but the penitentiary system is not one of them. We find those systems in pagan nations, and that is what America has become, a follower of false lawgivers. That is the first commandment, to have no other gods before me, before the one true God. And God means, that's a noun. God is a noun. It doesn't describe who he is. And who is he? He is a lawgiver. So every time you read, if you read this book, which is called the Law of Freedom and the Royal Law, in here, and it also says in the book of James that there's only one lawgiver. Hi, friends. Have no other lawgivers before me. And this lawgiver is the King of freedom. And so to have individuals forbidden to restore their injury and have them incarcerated, that is not justice. That is not justice. You know what that is? That is the evils of Marxism and communism. That's not a free country. When, if you make such a grievous injury and mistake to your neighbor, that you are forbidden to have the opportunity to make it right. Think about that. I want you to think about that as I'm saying this in these few moments that I have before you. Either yourself or somebody injures you. We're all prone to injuring our neighbor, to not loving them, right? That is the highest law, love. There's no argument, there's no law against the law of love. But when we do, if and when we violate that law, we need to have the freedom to make it right. So on one hand, when we violate the freedom of the law of love, you're not free to love your neighbor when it counts. You've injured them. We need the freedom to then make it right. And so to have the current governmental structures forbid that, they're no longer protecting our freedoms, but actually are an instigator against them, tyrannizing fear on everybody to not have an opportunity to make it right. So that's not how America is free. And in this video, I'm going to make available this document that is a thinking tool to show you how we're no longer under true freedoms. This document that I've created, with the help of a lawyer friend, contrasts true freedom with manufactured freedom. And I want you to have it. It's a 4-page document that will quicken the mind to see and recognize we don't have true freedoms. And here it is standing in front of us. Now I know behind me it's been blurred out. Joy, my excellent videographer daughter, who's helped me produce these things, and Josiah, who's right there, she just told me that she blurred out the back because of the lighting out here today is just not quite right. So she excels in those things, and but I am standing in front of the Lancaster County Prison, and I want to encourage you to access this document. I'll have a link that'll take you to our ministry website where you can get this. It's already there actually, but I'm going to have it there so that you can see we're not under true freedom. We're under a manhandled, manipulated, manufactured form. So I want you to have that, have this, and then I'm no longer, and my family and others are no longer consenting to living under man-made freedom. I'm going to live in true freedom. And so I'll also have I'll have a letter here that I've written. It's going out to friends of ours in the county. We're going to resurrect the committees of safety. We're going to have the people come forward to be the grand jury as the guardian of liberty, to give permission to the state whether to even prosecute before a trial. All right, that's the 12-man jury. But even before that, there's a greater protection, and that's the grand jury, 24, 25 men, angry men, that's what the jury is, to deliberate and see the evidence, or just have an investigation done whether there should even be prosecution at all. And that protection is there for you, and it is there for me. It is there for our families. And without that, we're all under force and threat of force to comply with manufactured freedoms, like get your license to do things that have always been, since the time of creation, right and free and just to do. And that's to go travel on these public roads in your property and take care of yourself and your family. Okay? I talk more about that in other videos. If you look at that on our YouTube page at Liberty is the Law. But we're taking action here locally to call on folks, and let's come together. And I talk about it here in this letter. We're having an open house at the end of this month here in October 2024, the last Sunday. So with this, there you'll get the invitation. There's an invitation. And if you are in Lancaster, or if you're in Pennsylvania, you want to know about this, because we're no longer consenting to the evils of a manufactured freedom. And that is what is good about America. I'm not focusing on what's wrong, I'm focusing on what is good. And what is good is the power to not consent to man-made freedom, which is actual evil. Okay? I'm not consenting to the legacy of Karl Marx, the German pirate who's making war on God through his manifesto of communism, and therefore making war on this country since he came out with that in 1848. Can you hear me when I say I am no longer going to be an apologist for Karl Marx and his Communist Manifesto? And I'm no longer consenting to incarceration being the solution when restitution. That is justice. So I'm inviting you to access the information that I'm making available here, these documents. I'm inviting you to reach out to us. Let's come together if you're in the Lancaster County or surrounding county, because quite frankly, this is onto the whole Commonwealth. Okay? Let's come together as Americans. And if you have faith, we can come together as Christians. But before that, we can come together as Americans. So don't get nervous if I talk about Jesus Christ. If you are an individual who wants to exercise true freedom, true freedom externally, we can work together. Okay? If you don't want to take it to the heart level, we can still have a measure of doing something together here when it comes to abolishing the prison system. So, thank you for listening to this segment on this series, Abolishing the Prison System. And we don't have to fear about criminals running all over the place. No, the solutions are there. We're just slumbering over accessing those. And I've just referenced it about restitution, and we'll have all those things. They're actually already there in place. All right, I'll talk about that on another segment. And so for now, reach out to us and let freedom ring.